A former Hamas spokesman's Facebook post is serving to underscore just how bad an idea it may be for President Obama to have agreed to work with an interim Palestinian unity government. Ihab al-Hussein wrote on Facebook over the weekend that Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has been intentionally tricking the U.S. by making public statements recognizing Israel's right to exist. But in private, it's a different story. Al-Hussein paraphrases Abbas as having said, "Let me continue saying what I say to the media. Those words are meant for the Americans and the occupation," in this case Israel, "not for you," meaning not for people in Hamas. "When I go out publicly and say that the government, Abbas's government, and it recognizes Israel and so on, fine. These words are meant to trick the Americans." Now, the Obama administration agreed to work with the new unity government immediately after it was founded just last week. But the presence of Hamas in the alliance doesn't exactly line up with statements the president made while campaigning in 2008.
John McCain always says, well, I'm not going to run that kind of politics. My policy towards Hamas has been no different than his. I've said that they are a terrorist organization, that we should not negotiate with them unless they recognize Israel or renounce violence.
If you like your policy of not negotiating with terrorists, you can keep it. Joining me tonight for Q&A to discuss this is Dovid Efune. He's the editor of the Algemeiner newspaper. Dovid, thank you very much.
Pleasure, Black.
So we are, in fact, going to be negotiating with Hamas. I want to ask you first, though, what you make about this Facebook post. This was reported on theblaze.com, essentially saying that Abbas is out there doing his best to fool the Americans and the Israelis so that there can be a better bargaining position or they can stall for time. What's the purpose of it, and how truthful do you find that posting to be?
Well, first of all, the posting itself, unfortunately, is not news. It's just another symptom, based on the particular situation we're dealing with today, of the duplicitousness that we've seen coming out of the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. They understand that there are certain accepted norms in the West. They understand that there are restrictions that will come into place if they are seen to be doing and saying certain things, whether it's funding from the US or for the EU or for the UN. So consistently you've had this situation where they say one thing in Arabic, they say one thing to their own people, they say one thing in negotiations between each other, and a completely different script and a different tone when it comes to conversations to the West and interviews to the West. So this is kind of, it's rare that it comes out into the open and it gets this much attention, but this is just another symptom of that.
And you're correct. This is nothing new even. Yasser Arafat was reputed to have done the exact same thing on countless occasions when he was leader of the Palestinians. Now, they're saying that these are just technocrats. They're not really Hamas guys that are a part of this unity government. And I was reading through some Arab media today. They were saying, look, this is just a step in the process of actually getting towards a peace negotiation, because you need to bring Hamas into this. And so Hamas has put forward these technocrats, guys who aren't even really Hamas guys. What do you make of that? And also, what do you think should have been the response to that effort to sort of start these talks, or rather to put forth this unity government from the U.S. side?
Well, here's the thing. You know, the first thing that's crucial to understand is that when you're dealing with a dictatorial theocracy, the concept of technocrats, you know, what's important to look at is who is behind, where is the power, who is appointing these people, who do they have allegiance to. The figureheads that are sitting in place are practically irrelevant. And it's very, very clear that what you have here is a partnership between the Palestinian Authority and Hamas, which is an internationally recognized terror group. There are no two ways about that. That is pretty straightforward. In terms of what the response should be, it's pretty clear. I mean, if you look at the opinion polls that are out there, the Anti-Defamation League released a poll that shows that the Palestinian Authority-controlled areas are the most anti-Semitic in the world, with over 93% holding anti-Semitic views. If you look at the sentiment on the street, this really is creating an opening for Hamas to seize control. The question really is, if you're bringing these partnerships together, if you're talking about bringing the Palestinian Authority and Hamas together, who's going to end up on top? And it's pretty clear that this is a power play whereby Hamas is going to have more access in the West Bank, more access to educate people, more access to the populace and to recruit people, and you're going to end up with a situation where Hamas becomes increasingly empowered and the Palestinian Authority is increasingly irrelevant.
The Obama administration, it seems, has not struck out on the peace process. They can't even get to the plate. They can't get anything started, and they're making even worse decisions as time goes on. Dovid, thank you very much for stopping by. It's good to see you.
It's a pleasure, Bud.
Another deadly rampage, this time in Las Vegas. The media has been speculating again about the motives of the gunman. After the break, Will asks if sensational coverage of violent events bears any responsibility.